All right, so I am super excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining me for our chat about gut health today. We're going to be talking about fix your gut, save your life. I give you guys a lot of kudos and credit for showing up today, investing in your health, and trying to be more educated and be able to make the best decisions you can as you're trying to optimize your gut health. Gut health is super important. It's really at the root of our health, and we're going to talk about that a lot. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Trevor Hausauer. I'm a family nurse practitioner. I specialize in functional medicine, and I have a practice here in Fargo, North Dakota. I have training through the Institute for Functional Medicine as well as through the Kresser Institute, and have gone through a lot of other continuing education, specifically in functional medicine. My practice here is Valley Vital Medicine. You can find me and find more information about me at valleyvitalmedicine.com. You can also follow me on Facebook if you have not yet. Always appreciate having a few more followers there so that you can stay on top of what I'm doing, and I'm continually trying to put out more information and try to improve your health that way. I'm married. I have 3 kids, 8, 6, and 4 years old. Have also a 2-year-old English Cocker Spaniel. So that's my family. They keep me busy. God has given me a real passion for functional medicine. I really have kind of a unique background, I think, and came from the conventional medicine background where I worked as a registered nurse in both the ER and the ICU, and really got to see a lot of really sick people. And it made me really wonder what got these people here in the first place, and what could we have done to prevent them from getting here? And so as I wrestled with that, I said, well, we need to get to them before the hospital. And so decided to go and get my family nurse practitioner degree. And as I got that, I got started in internal medicine, again in conventional medicine. Started working with a lot of people that were really quite sick, being on tons of medications. And, it just didn't seem like I was making the difference that I wanted to make. And so from there, I continued to pursue my education in functional medicine. And so once I was doing that, I just felt like God was calling me to go somewhere else and do something different. And so last year, I got deployed. I'm in the Army Reserve, got deployed as a nurse practitioner. And while I was gone, God really laid on my heart, you know what, it's time for me to step out and do my own thing. So I established Valley Vital Medicine this last July, and it's been a lot of fun since then. So that's a little bit about my background. So let's go ahead and get started on our gut health topic for today. I am going to go ahead and get rid of my video here. And that will just allow you to maybe better concentrate on what it is that I'm talking about. If you have questions as we go ahead and put them in the chat box, and I will get to them as best as I can. So, the gut. Hippocrates says all disease begins in the gut. I have a tendency to agree. The gut, or the gastrointestinal system, is an incredible great gateway to optimal health. The gut microbiome is an ecosystem of organisms which include bacteria, yeast, fungus, viruses, protozoas. They all live in the digestive tract, all in different places too. Far beyond just your digestive health, these other organ systems can also be considered closely related to your gut health. Your immune system, which actually about 60 to 70% lies around your gut. Your endocrine system, nervous system, again, the nervous system has about 2/3 of its system actually around your gut. The circulatory system, skin, respiratory system, reproductive system. Sounds like about everything, doesn't it? Some of the major functions of the gut include digestion, immune response, nutrient absorption, hormone regulation, vitamin production, detox, mood management. and so many more things. So tell me, all right, you don't have to put it out there for everybody to hear or see, but do you suffer from digestive distress? How about respiratory issues, heartburn, rashes, water retention, constipation, acne, migraines, congestion, fatigue, irritability, depression, brain fog? All of these things and many more things can be traced back to your gut health. So, how do we fix our gut health and improve our life? Functional medicine serves as a combination of both conventional medicine and complementary healthcare. It uses a model of personalized care where we try to treat at the root cause of each issue and sustainable health promotion. Functional medicine is revolutionizing the medical field by empowering patients to better understand the imbalances in their bodies, how these imbalances affect their health, and the solutions available to support normal healing mechanisms within your body. So next we're going to talk about what's sabotaging your gut health and how do we regain your control of your health and life through these functional medicine principles. Your gut is powerful. It does a lot, but it's delicate. There's so many things that can inhibit your gut's ability to maintain its balance, structural integrity, and absorptive qualities. So what are the main enemies for our gut health? One would be the standard American diet. It's rich in sugar and chemicals, lacking in nutrients and fiber, and contributes to an unhealthy ecosystem within the gut. About excessive medications, the overprescription of antibiotics, steroids, anti-inflammatories, and acid-blocking drugs, they significantly disturb your gut's microbial imbalance. Inadequate digestive enzyme activity. Sufficient digestive enzymes are needed for the breakdown, absorption, and use of nutrients in our bodies. The absence of them can lead to a host of digestive problems. How about toxic exposures that are found in air, water, foods, personal care products? These all damage the gut's ability to function properly. Infections. These are invasions of the body by pathogens such as bacteria, yeast, viruses, fungi, parasites, or prions. And stress, particularly chronic stress, is detrimental to your gut. The gut is vulnerable to stress-induced changes in many of its crucial functions, particularly in absorption, digestion, and keeping the bacterial balance. The SAD diet, or the standard American diet, a study from the United States Department of Agriculture conducted in 2009 reported that a staggering 63% of the calories Americans are consuming came from processed foods containing preservatives, refined grains, and added sugars and oils. In 2010, the USDA revealed that approximately 1,000 calories out of the standard 2,775 daily calorie diet came from added sweeteners and unhealthy fats. In contrast, dairy, fruits, and vegetables only counted for 424 calories. Another 2010 study conducted by the National Cancer Institute showed that 3 out of 4 Americans did not eat a single fruit in a day. And 9 out of 10 Americans do not meet the minimum daily recommended intake of vegetables. 99% do not fulfill the recommended weekly intake of whole grains. So these researchers ultimately concluded nearly the entire US population consumes a diet that is not on par with recommendations. These findings add another piece to the rather disturbing picture that is emerging of a nation's diet in crisis. Now, everybody's dietary needs are different. That I will give you. But there's general guidelines that pretty much everybody can benefit from adhering to. The ideal diet for someone looking to prevent gut imbalance and heal from gut dysfunction and reverse gut damage includes eating mainly whole unprocessed foods, which means what? Cooking, right? Plant-based fiber, plenty of fruits and vegetables. Beans and legumes, for most people, are actually quite healthy. Nuts and seeds, non-dairy fermented foods. To determine your own specific dietary needs, it's recommended to follow through with an elimination diet. Elimination diets are incredible tools that I use all the time in my practice to determine food irritants, sensitivities, and allergies that are contributing to a compromised gut. So let's talk about an elimination diet. This is honestly probably the most powerful thing I do in my practice. And one of the most amazing things about that is it's free. It might be hard to do, but it works and it's amazing. So an elimination diet is administered in a way that removes common food irritants that could be sabotaging your health. The foods to eliminate from your diet would be dairy, gluten, soy, corn, eggs, refined sugar, peanuts, red meat, alcohol, caffeine, hydrogenated oils, and packaged and processed foods. This elimination diet needs to last for at least 21 days. Preferably, I tell most people, let's try to get in a good month. The reason for this is it takes time for those food-related immune reactions to disappear, and the antibodies have to decrease to the appropriate levels. So once you've waited the proper amount of time, you'll begin to reintroduce each food group individually while paying close attention to how each food makes you feel. If any food begins to bother you, you take it out and continue reintroducing the remaining food groups. Now, each reintroduction of food needs to happen one at a time for I recommend 4 days. And you add that one single food back in twice a day for those 3-4 days. The reason is when you add a food in today, you may not see a reaction until 3 days down the road. So if you did an elimination diet, feel great, you started eating gluten today, and in 3 days you got a headache, well, that gluten may actually be causing your headache. And that's why without doing an elimination diet, it's really, really hard to figure these things out. So what can you eat on an elimination diet? You know, it may sound really restricting, but at the same time, if we're eating the foods that God gave us originally, there's plenty of those out there. So you can eat veggies, except for corn, whole fruits, fresh, frozen, or water packed, dairy substitutes like almond milk, coconut milk, hemp milk, rice milk, lean and clean animal protein, which includes wild game, lamb, organic chicken, fresh fish, nuts and seeds, beans, and most legumes. We try to eliminate soybeans and peanuts. We can include gluten-free grains in moderation, which would be rice, quinoa, amaranth, tapioca, buckwheat, and teff. We want high-quality oils, coconut, avocado, cold-pressed olive oil. Herbal teas are great. Sweetener alternatives in moderation, which would be honey, backstrap molasses, brown rice syrup, and of course, spices are great. Does anybody have any specific experience with an elimination diet? Again, this is something that I really recommend a lot. I get amazing results with it, and really in the matter of 1 to 2 weeks, some patients tell me that their symptoms are nearly completely gone. It really kind of boggles my mind, and I almost am to the point now where, or I am to the point now where this is what I expect when I have people do elimination diets. It's pretty impressive. I'll wait a minute on the chat and see if anybody types in on that. if you want more information about elimination diet as far as like a specific protocol, I do have one that I really like to use. You can actually email me, trevor@valleyvitalmedicine.com, and I can email that that elimination diet protocol to you. So feel free to do that. So let's move on here. What about sugar? According to the United States Department of Agriculture, the average American consumes over 150 pounds of refined sugar per year. Sugar is hiding in almost all of our food supply. Added sugars come in many forms, which makes it hard to identify. You heard of these things? High fructose corn syrup, corn sweetener, cane juice, dextrose, fructose, glucose, maltose, lactose, sucrose, malt syrup, and there's a bunch more. Unfortunately, sugar is one of the most detrimental anti-nutrients for the health of your gut. It promotes the growth of bad bacteria, hinders the growth of beneficial bacteria. It contributes to the deterioration of the digestive system's mucus lining. It feeds gut-attacking fungus, candida, and promotes intestinal permeability. So the main takeaway is cut out the sugar. What about gluten? The prevalence of gluten allergies and sensitivities has been on a steady and steep rise in these recent years. Research has been suggesting that even those without diagnosed intolerances may still experience digestive distress from the consumption of gluten. Some studies have found that everybody has intestinal permeability after taking in gluten. Gluten directly affects the integrity of the intestinal lining due to the production of a protein called zonulin. Zonulin opens up the spaces between the cells of the intestinal lining and in turn increases the intestinal permeability of the intestines altogether. This leads to something called leaky gut. When we have leaky gut, we have the ability for toxins, microbes, antibodies, undigested food particles to be released from the intestines into the bloodstream. The antibodies released are proteins initially produced to attack one of gluten's most prominent building blocks, gliadin. These antibodies contribute to the secretion of inflammatory chemicals, which lead to damage of otherwise healthy tissues. In other words, your body reacts simply to the consumption of gluten by creating a defense mechanism to it. Once this damage has occurred in the digestive tract, it is then distributed throughout the entire body. While gluten is found in the majority of grains such as wheat, barley, spelt, and rye, not all grains contain gluten. Many gluten-free grains should be avoided while working to heal your gut as well. Brown rice, for example, contains phytic acid, which is difficult for your body to break down and digest, which leads to inflammation in the digestive tract. Phytic acid also affects the absorption of key minerals, including magnesium, calcium, and zinc, and makes the digestive enzymes less efficient and causes overall digestive distress. Soaking and sprouting of grains can help remove some of the phytic acid, making them more digestible in moderation. However, for most people, it's best to avoid grains in the early stages of gut healing altogether. What about medications? According to the CDC, in the last 30 days, 48.5% of Americans have taken at least one prescription drug. 21.7% of Americans have taken 3 or more prescription drugs. Some of these medications that have been proven to disrupt the bacterial balance in your gut include NSAIDs, such as naproxen or ibuprofen, synthetic steroids, such as prednisone, broad-spectrum antibiotics, birth control pills, antidepressants, In most cases, lifestyle changes can replace all of these medications. However, the overuse of these inflammation-producing drugs has become the norm and cause unnecessary stress on the digestive and immune systems. Your body needs a sufficient amount of digestive enzymes in order to break down food particles efficiently. Without them, the food you eat would not be broken down into the form that your body can actually absorb. Your body produces digestive enzymes from the pancreas, stomach, salivary glands, and small intestines, and also released from the gallbladder. Decreased production of these digestive enzymes can be caused by many different things, such as acid blocking medications, zinc deficiencies, pesticides and chemicals on your food, excessive intake of unsaturated fats, heavy metal consumption, and many more things. But above all things, this lack of enzymes is usually due to a poor diet. Another thing to consider is as we age, we begin to naturally produce less and less digestive enzymes. And digestion becomes more difficult, less efficient. In fact, by the time we reach 45 to 55 years old, enzymatic production rate decreases by about 50%. Long story short, it is important to stabilize, preserve, and supplement your digestive enzymes in order to absorb nutrients effectively and efficiently. This can be done by including more raw foods, eliminating processed foods, and taking a trusted digestive enzyme supplement. If you want to know more about that, let me know at the end. Probiotics. This is a huge topic. What are they? They're live bacteria which live mostly in the lower portion of your GI tract. They produce substances that help balance your gut's microbiome by promoting healthy bacteria and hindering harmful bacterial growth. Probiotics can be lost by a poor diet, use of medications, exposures to oxidative stress. Luckily, there's ways to up your intake of probiotics to regain a healthy balance of bacteria in your gut. Probiotics are found in a wide variety of foods to include yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, tempeh, miso, kimchi, and kombucha. You may also want to explore further supplementation by taking a probiotic supplement. There are several different healthy probiotic bacterial strains. Most common ones are various strains of lactobacillus, streptococcus, saccharomyces, bifidobacterium, bacillus. But functional medicine testing can help us get a better understanding of what strains of bacteria may be the most beneficial for you. What about toxins? Exposure to these is unavoidable. We're exposed to them on a daily basis between the pesticides in our food, contamination of water, pollutants in the air, and chemicals in our common household products. To reduce and prevent this toxic overload, there's many ways to minimize exposure, such as eating organic, using good air purification systems, water filters, toxic-free household items, getting proper nutrition, ample hydration is important, and fasting. Also think about sweating, exercising, using saunas. All these things help with detoxification. What about chronic infections? These are caused by foreign invaders known as what we call pathogens. Pathogens can be bacteria, viruses, parasites, fungi. Acute infections are usually fought off by the immune system. However, chronic infections are not. Instead, your immune system provides continued effort to fight the chronic infection without removing the pathogen. This leads to health problems indefinitely and a severe hindrance of the healthy gut microbiome. Unfortunately, many of the conventional methods of handling infections also compromise gut health. It's best to work to understand any infections in your body, treat them appropriately and directly, and it's best to work with a functional medicine provider to try to get your gut back to its optimal health if we're dealing with specific infections. Stress. Nobody has stress. Our world is full of it every day. Even our false lighting that we have in our homes on a daily basis causes stress in our body. We need to be able to handle this stress. But if we have so many different kinds of stresses that we can't cope with them, we have a significant breakdown in our health, and it starts in our gut microbiome. So when you think about stress, think about a poor diet, lack of sleep, which should be 7 to 9 hours a night. Overtraining can be a significant stressor. Decision fatigue, feeling unfulfilled, depression, anxiety, major life changes, anything that puts a high demand on your body, mind, or spirit. That being said, it's apparent that most of us experience stress every day, and I would say that's true. However, when stress becomes chronic, we do not practice stress relieving techniques. If we do not practice stress relieving techniques, then our bodies pay the consequence. Your gut specifically is vulnerable to stress. Stress induces changes in the gut's permeability, its barrier accuracy, sensitivity, blood flow, and secretions. Studies have shown that the gut's microbiome responds directly to these stress signals. This means that the gut is one of the first lines of defense and also attack. There's a direct line from your brain to your gut when we start thinking about stress, called the vagus nerve. Some strategies to keep stress controlled within your body include eating an antioxidant-rich diet, deep breathing, regular exercise, being social, finding an enjoyable hobby, spending time outdoors, and of course, there's many other things, which I'm sure that you are quite aware of many of them. But luckily for us, it's possible to reverse this intestinal damage and heal from digestive distress, rebalancing your microbiome and repairing your gut's health. So there's a process in functional medicine that is widely taught called the 4R protocol. It really is an incredible tool that covers most everything, but we still need to make sure that we have the right treatment for you. This 4R protocol helps us to uncover your health issues, nutritional needs, digestive dysfunctions, and bacterial imbalances. So the 4 steps are remove, repair, restore, and repair. So remove. We eliminate problem foods, toxins, low-grade infections, and oxidative stress. We repair the gut with a clean diet, or replace actually should be the second one, using a clean diet with essential nutrients and giving back what your body needs. We restore or repopulate your gut with healthy bacteria using pre and probiotics to develop the proper balance of your gut bacteria. And finally, we replace the digestive enzymes, antioxidants, and immune boosting vitamins to promote sustainable and healthy digestion. This 4R provides an effective and complete way to address and treat gastrointestinal dysfunctions and achieve optimal health and digestion. Functional medicine practitioners are trained in this protocol, and I use it all the time, and work to make your 4R healing, your 4R process healing, individualized for your specific needs. So, gut health is truly the pathway to your overall health. There's many other ways to improve your gut health. Additional supplementation is good, which includes vitamin D, zinc, omega-3s, glutathione, doing mind-body practices, staying hydrated, limiting caffeine and alcohol, increasing your fiber intake, and most importantly, getting your microbiome analyzed. Thanks for joining me. I want to talk a little bit. I'm going to restart my video here. Here I am. I'm back. Let me see here. I don't know. You maybe can't see me yet, though. Here we go. Let's try this. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what I do in my practice, how I evaluate the gut. When I have a new patient that comes to me, or even somebody that I've been working with for a while, I may ask you to complete a diet journal so that we know what it is that you've been eating. Of course, we want to know what supplements that you're taking. But really, if we don't know if some of those infections or underlying pathologies are present in the gut, we're going to have a hard time making the progress that we're really looking to make. And so there's three main tests that I really use. So those three main tests are urine organic acids. They are a GI map stool test. And the third one is a lactulose breath test. So the urine organic acids test is really the best way for us to look for yeast or candida infections. That's specifically why that one's there, but it can also help us get a good look as to whether there's another type of infection in the gut called SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. This can be a significant type of infection that causes a lot of problems. The other test that I mentioned, the lactulose breath test, is a test that specifically and really only is looking for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. This is a huge topic, which I can get into and maybe do a future webinar on. It's a little bit big to get into today, but just knowing that that is a primary cause for gas, bloating, acid reflux, also can have non-GI symptoms like migraines, people that have issues with autoimmune type conditions can be a huge problem with SIBO. The last test that I use and what I mentioned was the GI map, and this is a stool test. So when I do this stool test, it really is an incredible test. When I was working in the conventional medicine side, I would order a stool culture. And that stool culture would look for a couple specific pathogens. And if there wasn't anything there, what they would tell me was that it was negative. It gave me absolutely no information. So what I really love about this test is it gives me a ton of information. It tells me what the balance of bacteria is in your gut. Are there some that are more than they are supposed to be? Do you have parasites? Do you have worms? What is the immune status of your gut? Do you have enough digestive enzymes? Are you reacting poorly to gluten? What's the inflammatory burden? And then it also gives us a little bit of guidance as far as best ways to treat if there's a specific infection. So this test is super cool. It's given me a huge advantage in my practice and is something that I recommend to really pretty much everybody do, no matter what their symptoms may be. In addition to that, I like completing a comprehensive blood panel. So the blood panel would include things like B12, folate, vitamin D deficiency, and iron panel. These things give us an idea, and we look for patterns to see, is there something underneath the surface that's causing us problems? And so I use patterns from the blood panel as well as the stool test, the breath test, the urine test, and it gives us a really good overall global picture of where your health is at. So that's how I go about evaluating gut health. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm going to go ahead and stop my recording here in a minute, but before I do that, if you have questions, I encourage you to feel free to email me, trevor@valleyvitalmedicine.com, or if you are wanting to get started in working with me, go ahead and log into valleyvitalmedicine.com. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a button that says Work with Trevor. While you're there, you can complete a really short health assessment as well as register for a free discovery call where I give you a call. We chat for about a half an hour to see if you are a good fit for me and if I'm the right fit for you. And if there's something that I can offer to you where I think that we can make some improvements or offer some insight into your health. So that's the best way to get started with me. So let's go ahead. I'm going to stop my recording.